Okay, and welcome back. In the last lesson, I showed you guys how to improvise over a backing track, and we're going to use that to learn more scales all the way up and down the neck. Now, if I were to just throw these at you and say, hey, learn these scales all the way up and down the neck, that's a lot of work. So what we're going to do is we're going to break things down into simple little chunks like this one. This is obviously our A minor pentatonic shape right here. They're going to be done in either 3 notes per string or a variety of it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to relate the scales that we already know to learn more by changing 1 or 2 notes. So once you learn a couple of these, you can just change a couple notes and you'll have a whole nother scale. So let's start. So once again, we're going to start simple here. I've already explained this. This is the A minor pentatonic. You guys are probably bored of hearing about this already. But what we're going to do is we're going to break this off into these 2 shapes right here and combine them right here and then down here. And then all we have to do is just memorize this little shape right here, which is an extremely easy shape to remember. And I already gave you guys the backing track to jam along with. So keep doing that with this one if you haven't memorized it all up and down the neck just yet. There's 2 reasons why I'm starting with this scale. One is because it's very simple. Obviously, I just showed you that there's only really 3 shapes that you have to memorize, and they're all pretty easy shapes to remember, in my opinion. And the second reason, we'll get to that when we get to the E minor scale. After we've mastered the A minor pentatonic scale, we can move on to the A blues scale. And that's just going to take the same couple of shapes, right? But we're just adding this blue note, just adding 1 note into the whole scale. And once again, we can do this thing right here where we have these 2 12 frets from each other, these 2 shapes right here. And then we just have this small little shape right here, and basically all we're doing is just adding this D sharp note in there. So that's it. That's pretty easy, if you ask me. So I mentioned before that there's 2 reasons why I had you guys learn the A minor pentatonic scale first. And the first reason was it was easy, and the second reason is because if we just take 2 more notes, if we just add 2 more notes to this scale, we get the E minor scale. And that's a very common scale and key to use on guitar. So up here we have our blue notes right here, which is kind of the skeleton of the A minor pentatonic scale. And just by adding these 2 notes, we get our E minor scale. So the notes of the A minor pentatonic are A, C, D, E, and G. And if we add the F sharp and the B note, we get an E minor scale. And once again, we can do this thing too, where we just play these 2, and then we have this middle shape right here. If you guys wanted to, though, now we can start getting into the 3 notes per string shapes if you want to. It's really up to you however you want to learn it, but I suggest starting on the A minor pentatonic and then filling in these 2 notes because it's going to make learning this E minor scale very easy after learning the A minor pentatonic scale. So after you've mastered the E minor scale, let's just focus on these notes right here. And what we're going to do now is just change up one of these notes 1/2 step, and we're going to get a completely different scale. So let me show you what I'm talking about here. We're going to use the E minor as a reference scale, okay? And if we take this note here and shift it up to here, like we did in this one, we get the E harmonic minor scale. So after you've learned the E minor scale, it's very simple just to shift this note up because it's the one right above where the root note is, and you have E harmonic minor. We can do the same kind of idea with the E Phrygian. Technically, this is a mode now, but we're going to take this note here and just shift it up to here, okay? Just like that. So it's the root, or it's the note after the root note that's going to have a 1/2 step versus the root or the note before the root. Very easy to do once you've mastered the E minor scale. So now that we know the harmonic minor and the Phrygian, we can combine those 2 and we get the E Neapolitan minor. Okay, we're taking this note here, which is from the E Phrygian, right? And then we're taking this note here, which is from the harmonic minor. So if we kind of combine these 2, we get the Neapolitan minor. Again, extremely simple to do if you know the E minor scale. More reference scales. Now we can start to take our harmonic minor scale, and what we can do is take this note and shift it up 1/2 step. And we can also get our Hungarian minor scale by taking this note and shifting it up 1/2 step. Once you start getting into these scales, it's going to take a little bit more time because, you gotta know your harmonic minor scale first, and before you know that, you have to learn the E minor scale and the A minor pentatonic scale. So it's going to take a little bit of time to get here. Don't expect any of this to come super quick. Another reference scale that I have for you is taking our E Phrygian, and we can get the E Phrygian dominant just by shifting this note up 1/2 step to here. Practice these scales. This is going to take a lot of time to really master all of this stuff. I don't expect you guys to just nail this right away. This is just a good way to kind of relate everything to one another and make it an easier process than just throwing that whole thing at you. I personally think this is a lot easier process to do because we're learning something simple and then we're just relating everything to the E minor scale basically. Once again, all of these have 3 backing tracks to play along with to practice to in this Guitar Scales 101 playlist. In part 2 of this lesson, we're going to take a look at the half-whole diminished scale, the whole tone scale, the E major scale, and then an overall summary of what we learned. So I'll see you guys there.